Yo, Godzilla, this is Kong, and I know we had our problems the last movie. I know they've been trying to keep us separated, but we really need you to stop the end of the world right now.
I'm Godzilla, motherfucker! I'm gonna kill everybody! I'm the only king around here!
What did you say? Flagpole.
Take your stinking paw off me, you damn dirty ape!
You're a wizard, Harry.
In spite of everything you've done for them, eventually they will hate you.
And I care! What is the deal?
No, do me a favor, Captain. Go fuck yourself.
Language.
Why so serious?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm vengeance.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Well, I got this sick ass power up. We'll get more into that in a moment because there's going to be spoilers for this movie. But I guess we can start with non-spoilers. We're talking about Godzilla Kong, the new empire, which just came out this weekend.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be one of another success for the monster verse here.
I hope so. I went opening night. There were a decent amount of people in the theater, so I hope it's making money right now.
It's got an audience score of 93%. The critic score is 55, but on Rotten Tomatoes the audience score is 90. So 93.
I mean, if you enjoyed Godzilla versus Kong, I don't see why you wouldn't enjoy this.
It's really fun. Like extremely fun.
Human characters aren't the most interesting, but I mean, people say that about most of these movies, that the humans aren't that interesting, but it's not about the humans. It's about the monsters. It's about Kong. It's about Godzilla, and there are a few more Titans in this one, which makes it all the funner.
Yeah. I feel like this movie is going to benefit though, because the only other movie in theaters right now is Ghostbusters, which who the fuck wants to go see Ghostbusters? Kung Fu Panda 4.
Monkey Man is coming out next week, though. That's the Dave Patel directed, Jordan Peele produced action thriller movie, and it's got super good reviews. So I think it'll be a threat next week. But as of now, yeah, Godzilla Kong is the thing to see.
Yeah, but is that movie going to be like a blockbuster type movie?
I don't think it's going to be to the level that Godzilla Kong is, like that type of blockbuster, but I think it is going to make money because I know Jordan Peele's name carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, because he's made a bunch of bad movies that people like.
Bad movie? Have you even seen one of his movies?
Name 3 of his movies.
Get Out, Us.
Yeah, that movie's fucking boring.
Get Out?
Nope is stupid, and Us is weird, and it's kind of annoying.
I don't believe you've seen at least 2 of those.
I've not seen Get Out.
Oh, well, Get Out.
I've not
awesome.
seen Nope. Oh, I have seen Us. You were asking me that earlier.
Yeah,
there's like the twist at the end that they're like everybody's a fucking copy or some shit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that movie's fucking stupid. I was so bored throughout that entire movie.
Yeah, I haven't watched it since it came out. Me and Everest were planning on doing an episode on Jordan Peele stuff. So those 3 that he's directed, and he produced the new Candyman back in 2021. So we'll probably just kind of discuss all those. Us I'm rewatching though because it's the one I remember the least. But this episode isn't about Jordan Peele.
Yeah, but anyways, the MonsterVerse though. Hopefully, I hope they continue this. I don't really know where they can go from here, but the thing is, it's a fucking monster movie, so who the fuck cares? Just keep rebuilding the cities and keep letting the monsters destroy them.
I mean, if you're a fan of monsters leveling things and leveling each other, you'll enjoy this movie. At least you'll enjoy over half of this movie. I don't think there's ever a moment where like the human characters are on screen for too long, because every time I started to kind of feel like that, they cut to like Kong or cut to Godzilla. I'm like, okay, thank you. You at least paced this pretty well.
Yeah, I don't know. You said you didn't really like the human characters. I didn't dislike them exactly, but I wasn't like overjoyed when I seen them. Get introduced to a new character called Trapper. He's pretty cool. Yeah, he's kind of funny.
I felt most of the characters just kind of felt one-dimensional, and they had like one specific thing to do in the movie. The little deaf girl, I literally just feel like she was used kind of as a plot device to further the plot along the whole thing. with the tribe, which we'll get more into in spoilers. And obviously, she's the only one that can actually communicate with Kong. So she's kind of, she literally, they take her there for that specific reason because she can communicate with Kong. Which, I mean, it makes sense, but and it established the last movie, so I don't. It's not a major complaint of mine. But Trapper is really like the only character that didn't feel one dimensional to me. Like he felt like a real person. Like it felt like a guy you could just run into in the real world and be like, "Oh, this guy is kind of quirky and weird, and he's a dentist."
Yeah, I don't know. I probably just I didn't hate him as much as you. Not that saying you hated him, but I just didn't dislike him as much. I do feel like the little girl was like a plot device or whatever. Yeah, that's true. I think Trapper. Yeah, he's like kind of the most real. I can't remember who the conspiracy theorist guy was, but he's the guy who was about like Thomas the Tank Engine stuff in Bullet Train.
Yeah, he was in the last movie too, right?
Yeah, he was in Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah. No, he
But
was in Bullet Train. He was Tangerine, bro. He was Aaron
it's
Taylor Johnson's
Tangerine.
brother.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude. Fun movie.
I don't know. I liked him in this. I mean, I thought he was funny. Kind of like the way he's just like him and Trapper have a conversation. He's like, you start putting this all over the internet and stuff, then you're gonna ruin these people's lives and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
And
like
he's
this
like,
is
after
magic. And what's gonna
yeah,
happen once
after
you put it out there?
after you save the world the first time, and then he's like, can I get you to say that last thing again? And he's recording him because it's like apparently Monarch had denied that he helped him or anything like that, and all this other stuff. But
As any big corporation would do in the real world.
Godzilla is we kind of leave. So we come into the movie and Kong is he's just running Middle Earth. He's basically just king.
Middle Earth?
Middle Earth, my bad. Hollow Earth. He's just king
Oh my,
down there
imagine
though.
Kong, imagine a Godzilla or Kong. Imagine Kong in the Lord of the Rings universe. Like how would that go over? Just imagine
Fucking
him in the in the elf village.
Saruman would corrupt his mind.
Oh, yeah. Well, Saruman is dead.
Sauron, sorry.
Sauron. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Those movies are great. But yeah,
Yeah,
Kong
but
is just he's got a little toothache in Hollow Earth. He's just kind of looking for a family. He's got an infected tooth though, so that's why he comes back to I guess we can just go into spoilers from here on. If you enjoyed Godzilla versus Kong, I'd recommend seeing Godzilla Kong New Empire. You can kind of decide if you want to go to the theater or wait for it to be on streaming. You know yourself well enough. But it's a fun movie, and I overall enjoyed my experience with it.
yeah, it's I don't know. I think this one though, I think the sound for the monsters was the worst in my opinion.
Maybe I didn't pay like super close attention to the
I don't
sound
know. I don't
compared
know
to
why I feel that way, but I feel like that was the worst for some reason. It's not saying
you
it
know
was bad, but it was the worst out of all the other movies.
their utilization of the soundtrack was so weird to me because they'd play a song for like 30 to 45 seconds and then just stop. And I'm like, why is this even here? Like you didn't really need that. It just kind of felt they needed music in the movie that wasn't the score. And I was like, I thought the soundtrack was pretty good too, but I'm like, why are you just playing this for like 30 seconds and then stopping? It doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can move into spoilers. I mean, there's really not a whole lot to say. They basically open up the plot of this movie. Well, yeah, pretty much pretty quick. Now we're in spoilers, so if you get the movie spoiled for you, it's your fault.
Yeah, because so what Godzilla is doing this whole movie, well, at least the first half of the movie, is literally he's just going from country to country, more or less, and absorbing all of its radiation, getting a major power up. And that's Godzilla's role, like this movie. And the only time they bring up Godzilla is like when they're talking about Kong and Godzilla being separated. It's like, oh, we can't have these two meet up again because it could cause an all-out war. We remember what happened the last time. They got to stay in their own territories. We got to keep them separated. And Kong, he's got a little toothache, like I was mentioning, and he comes up to just regular old Earth. He's like, "Yo, I got a toothache. My tooth really hurts." So Trapper comes in, and I love. There's a few times you see a Titan's tooth in this movie, and their teeth are literally like 10 times the size of a human being.
Yeah,
Like, what
it's
the
pretty
heck?
crazy.
I'm like, holy crap, bro. Yeah, I never gathered that without seeing it close up because since we're in spoilers, later on, Scar King loses a tooth and it's just as big and it literally almost squashes like a
Hmm.
crowd of people. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
it puts into perspective how giant they actually are.
So Trapper pulls out Godzilla's tooth and they put like some sort of like metal replacement tooth in. I'm not sure
Kong's
exactly
tooth.
what it was made out of. Do what?
Kong's tooth, not Godzilla's.
Oh yeah, my bad. Kong's tooth, yeah. And he's like, yeah, he could crunch through the Eiffel Tower without like, and I'm like, God damn, that's fucking crazy. That's a strong tooth right there.
Bro, and all the apes are laughing at it later in the movie. I'm like, bro, that's not cool. Like this car king points it out and he's like, and starts laughing like the Joker.
What's crazy is what's crazy is the whole time Kong's on the surface though, the only thing that they're trying to do is get him back in Hollow Earth. That's it. You remember all the conversations they're having? They're like, yeah, we don't want Godzilla to find this guy. Like, hurry up, get him back down there.
Yeah, they're like, we yeah, because they know, well, right now he's not powerful enough to even take Godzilla on one-on-one, so they don't want Kong harmed because they know what happened last movie.
It's like Monarch has like everybody's all the world governments are like, fuck this Godzilla guy. And Monarch's basically just being like, dude, he is saving you from Titans. Like, because he's
the one protecting you from all these other threats.
Yeah, now he might kill a bunch of people, but he's keeping world domination from happening from one Titan,
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, another thing that I did notice in this movie, and you may have noticed, did you see when they were tracking him, did you see what Godzilla's Titan name was?
What was it? I didn't notice.
It was Gojira.
Gojira.
Yeah, which is I'm pretty sure the original name for Godzilla, which was pretty cool. From Japan. Yeah, so that was a cool little callback thing. But and they don't really want them to fight. Like, again, it's not like they're trying to use Kong to kill Godzilla for anything. They just want them separated because Kong isn't fucking with anybody. He's just doing his own thing. Godzilla isn't just tearing shit up to tear shit up. He's literally just protecting the earth, Like, the people used to worship him because what he did is he protected the earth. All the buildings can be rebuilt and shit. Now, it sucks that he's killing all these people in these cities and stuff, but I mean, whatever. At least you have a city left afterwards, somewhat of one.
I mean, if Godzilla wasn't there and there's just the Titan running rampant on the city, there would be far more casualties because Godzilla stops it before they can get too far.
Yeah, he did find a new home, though, which I found absolutely adorable.
Oh, the Coliseum?
Yeah, he just curls up in it like a fucking dog.
And later on in the movie, when they're showing him sleeping in it, and all the people are just kind of looking like, oh, this is where this dude's chilling. Let's not fuck with him. Oh, yeah, it was great. It was literally the perfect fit. Well, he broke some of it off, but mostly the perfect fit. He fit perfectly inside of that. Curled up in a ball, had a good night's rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That was a good little ongoing gag. And I mean, Godzilla is the ultimate warrior, right? So why not sleep in Coliseum?
Yeah. So Kong finds, though, so it's basically that's where we leave Godzilla. Well, let's get all the Godzilla shit out of the way. So, like you said, Godzilla is just powering up, right, for something to happen.
Yeah.
So
he's just powering up and fucking tightens up along the way. That's basically all you're seeing Godzilla do until he meets Kong.
So he goes and he kills this one Titan in Antarctica or something like that. That he absorbs radiation or something like that, solar radiation. So Godzilla kills him and then goes to sleep kind of after that and absorbs all this radiation. That's where we leave him. And then he's out of the movie for what would you say, 20, 30 minutes maybe?
Yeah, probably something like that.
So we cut back to Kong, though. He gets his new tooth and he goes back and he finds more monkeys like him. And he's like, what the fuck's going on? And he finds his baby one and he's like, yo, little guy, what's going on? And then he gets bum rushed by a couple other apes.
And all these apes are savage looking. They don't look like normal everyday apes.
Yeah, they're like Koba level apes kind of stuff.
Yeah. It looks like they've been tortured or experimented on or something along those lines. It does not look like
more so tortured.
Yeah, it does not look like they've been, living a normal life.
Yeah. So Kong kind of fucks these apes up, and the little guy's like, "Ah, shit, I'm gonna fuck this guy up." So he tries to fuck up King Kong. King Kong just fucks him. he just throws the little guy. He tosses him around a little bit. He doesn't like hurt him real bad, but anyways, he's like, "All right, show me where all these monkeys were coming from, bro." And the little guy's like, "Oh, whimper, whimper, whimper." And so he does. He tries to like kill him a few times along the way, but Kong's like, smarter than that. Like he leads him into some water, and a giant titan like tries to attack him, and
That
the
was
little guy's
awesome.
running away.
Battle with the
and then
sea serpent.
then you see like the axe that he got from the last movie like land in front of the little guy, and then you just see Kong like walking through, like eating the serpent thing, and the little guy's like, "Damn, this guy's kind of fucking badass." And
Oh yeah,
come to find,
he just throws his head in front of him.
yeah. So there's this whole little subplot with the little girl. I guess it's not subplot; it's the main plot. But the little girl from the last movie is like the last remaining person from her tribe. So
yeah, the main theme
out,
in this is definitely family because it's all about Kong trying to find a family, and it's about this little girl. Like the doctor is her mother; she's her family, but she's also got this lost tribe that's family. So like she finds her lost family and reconnects with that, and so family is like definitely the main thing.
yeah. So I don't know. It's
So the whole thing with the girl is tribe, like I guess wanted her to come to Hollow Earth, and they led her to their section of Hollow Earth so that she could resurrect, or yeah, she could awaken Mothra. That was like literally her whole purpose. This movie. This girl can communicate with Kong, and she's there to awaken Mothra. That's her role in this movie.
yeah, pretty much. That's literally it.
So yeah. Before we get to Mothra, though, we've already talked about Kong and fighting the sea serpent and his relationship with the little monkey. Should we talk about Scar King?
Well, that's what I was about to get into. That so the old tribe. So there was a giant war a long time ago of all these apes and or what was it? Godzilla and the apes lived. One ruled Hollow Earth, one ruled the top side, or something like that.
Something like that. Essentially, the apes, the ruler was the Scar King, and he was trying to reach the surface to basically bring about world domination.
Well, yeah, he wasn't necessarily the ruler. He overtook everything and took over and was like kind of a douchebag. So that was his whole deal.
Yeah, that doesn't change. He stays a douchebag.
Yeah. So he shows up and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm totally gonna like fuck everything up." Well, Godzilla, like it almost killed him apparently, but he managed to seal the apes like in this area where King Kong ends up finding them. He seals them away and whatnot, and that's what Skull Island was. Skull Island was like an exile place for Kong's family because they got fucking taken over by the Scar King or whatever his name was. I'm pretty sure it was like exile. It was either exile or they were guarding so he couldn't. I don't remember. It's something like that. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
They were trying to like reach the surface, invade. They're striving for world domination. Basically, Godzilla stops them, entraps them in like a lifetime of solitude, basically, where they're just working and stuff. But did Godzilla really do that? Because it looks like the Scar King is overseeing all this, and he's the reason all these apes are get tortured.
Well, it's like they were trying to find a way. They were trying to find a way to get out. They had no way out to the surface, so they're trapped.
The human story was they said that's because of Godzilla. Godzilla stopped them from reaching the surface, so like they were entrapped down here since they could never get past Godzilla, and I assume they're living in fear of Godzilla. But I don't know what changed now. I guess Scar King just grew some balls and he's like, "Yo, yeah, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go to the surface. Godzilla ain't gonna do shit." Well, does he know? Kong knows that motherfucker. And he's enslaved Shimu, which is basically just a female version of Godzilla and an ice breathing version of Godzilla. So instead of atomic breath, she has ice breath.
Yeah, she brought on the last ice age, is what they say.
I thought she was pretty cool. I mean, it sucks that she was just being controlled the whole
time. I did too.
But once she breaks free at the end, it's awesome. We'll wait to get to that. We'll talk about the whole final battle.
So like Kong rolls up down there and he's stopping these apes from like beating each other to death and all this other stuff. And so Scar King rolls up and he's like gets taken off his little throne and he's making fun of Kong's tooth and Kong's like, what the fuck's going on here? And so like all this stuff's happening and whatnot. And so then
the fact that Godzilla took on this Scar King and this army of apes though kind of puts into perspective like how powerful of an ape Kong really is. Like he is king because Godzilla like barely beat him one on one, and he took down this army years and years ago.
Yeah, Kong, and the only reason Kong just got overwhelmed. Well, Scar King would have got his ass whipped if he didn't have that. If he didn't have access to that weapon, which was Shimu or whatever.
Yeah, if he didn't have Shimu, because Shimu literally freezes his arm and he gets frostbite, which
makes his arm immobilized. And all that.
Nerves in his arms are damaged. So yeah, he can't move his arm. So he's got one arm to fight, which a very big disadvantage.
Little guy helps Kong manage to find a way out. So he finds his way out. And Kong has built all of these elaborate traps through Hollow Earth, which I found pretty cool. I don't know about you, but like he built all these traps and stuff. And
they really show how smart Kong is. Like they show him as a technician and a strategist, and I really like that.
Whereas Godzilla's just brute strength, overpower, kill.
Yeah.
And so they do all this stuff and whatever. And how many apes did Kong kill, like, with his traps? Like, 2 or 3, I think. And then one of the apes was just like, I'm not falling for this stuff here. So, fuck you. I'm not tripping over this bullshit. And little Kong pushes all the stuff down on top of him, which I thought was pretty funny.
And Kong's like, okay. And then he looks up and sees the little guy. He's like, hey, you're finally here to help me. You're not trying to kill me anymore, man? That's awesome.
So, because of the little girl and Kong having that connection, they managed to find where the tribe, I don't remember what the tribe is, but they managed to find the tribe and go and get them and do some shit, I guess. Basically, Kong's like, hey guys, I'm hurt. I need some help again. And they built like power-ups for Kong, I guess, from the last fight with Godzilla. And so
they say they were developing this at Monarch and it got shut down, but they were far enough with the prototype that like they had a fully functional weapon for Kong. Monarch shut it down because they didn't think making one of the world's most powerful titans, probably the second most powerful titan they know of behind Godzilla, right? More powerful. That's why they shut it down. But Trapper was like, yeah, we got this prototype, and it's basically fully functional. We just gotta test it out. And it's got these full-on injections. So it's just a giant power glove, essentially, that goes over Kong's arms. And it's got these injections that go into him and, like, heal the nerve damage and just heal his arm completely, basically.
It's a magic drug, pretty much. It's just, okay, what ailment do you have? Okay, it's gonna fix that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was a nonsensical. Yeah. It will fix the frostbite. Oh, you got broken hand. Okay, here's some stuff that'll heal the bone, and you got the glove still. It's just kind of didn't really make a lot of sense, but whatever. It was cool at the end of the day.
Yeah, and once they show what it can do against Godzilla, especially.
Yeah, so Kong, the little girl's like, "Yo, we need some help, man. The Scar King's gonna be down here in any minute now." And Kong's like, "Aight, cool." So he comes out at the pyramids in Egypt, and he's like, "Yo, Godzilla, come at me." And Godzilla's like, "I'm on my way." So Godzilla like beelines for Kong, like travels, I don't know how many thousands of miles to Kong. He's there in like just a few minutes. And he's like, Kong's like, all right, look, so I got this guy, all right, in Hollow Earth. Holy shit, he's charging at me and he's not stopping. And that's basically, and then a fight ensues, which I like.
I was hoping not to see them fight again, but like in this context, it made sense. I'm like, okay, Kong is not looking for a fight here. Godzilla's just like, you're on my turf, so I'm coming at you. So I was like, okay, I get that. And especially with like, Mothra's inclusion, I got it.
Oh yeah, they revived Mothra too during all this.
Yeah, and
Mothra didn't really do anything. It just got revived and then just kind of was like, all right, I'm going to go to the surface as well.
well, literally, Mothra. What the I feel like the purpose of Mothra was to stop this fight between Godzilla and Kong because that's the only reason Godzilla stops.
Well, Mothra is like the protector of the people, right? So, or the protector of that tribe, anyways. So Mothra like could like keep Godzilla from like just smearing everything, everybody. And so Godzilla and Kong fight, and you basically see Godzilla beat up Kong again, up until he uses the power glove finally.
Oh, yeah, and we get
Dude, he
like,
uses that power glove, and it's like a one-shot KO to Godzilla.
bro,
Bro
that
falls down.
just that shot of Kong with Godzilla's tail over his shoulder, dragging him to the hole to leap back into Hollow Earth, so badass. I'm like, holy shit, Kong is for real, man. Like he was for real before, but
Mm-hmm.
he's for real now.
Yeah, I like that. That was pretty good. And then Godzilla starts like charging up,
Yeah.
and Kong drops him or whatever. And I
Kong,
like what
Kong looks back. He's like,
do
oh.
what?
Kong looks back at him when he's charging up. He's like, oh shit. Drops him immediately.
Yeah,
Takes the fuck off.
yeah. But what I like though is Godzilla. He's just a bruiser pretty much, but he's also a tactician as well in a way because he uses all that sand as a
Oh
way to
yeah.
get the advantage on Kong because Kong can't see what's going on. And then he was literally about to kill Kong, and then Mothra's like, "Yo!" shows up, shoots Godzilla. I was like, "Will you stop it? Come on, I need you to do something." And Godzilla's like, whatever." So he
And
lets
Godzilla
Kong up.
just kind of roars in the sky. He's like, oh, I can stop the Scar King again. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. And so they all go down to Hollow Earth, and conveniently, the Scar King shows up. Pretty crazy, right? But
Yeah.
earlier in the movie, you find out that the one of the monkeys that mini Kong dropped the rocks on or whatever, he saw where they went. So Scar King shows up, and the fight breaks out. Godzilla goes straight after Shimu. Mothra goes basically on cleanup duty, and then Godzilla or Kong and the Scar King go at each other pretty hard.
Yeah, so are Scar King and Shimu original characters? Or do they
I
have
don't think so.
okay, so they have like lore in the Kaiju universe.
Or my bad. Yes, I think they are original.
They are,
I don't.
okay. I think they're
I've
pretty
never
good
heard of
original
Scar King
characters.
before.
Like, obviously they don't have much death, but they don't really need that. I think they're pretty cool villains. Well, Shimu is not a villain, but I think Scar King is a pretty good villain. Because he's just a total
Yeah.
dick, and he's like pure evil, and sometimes pure evil is all you need in a villain. So,
Yeah.
I mean, him versus Kong was pretty awesome, and of course, it was mostly Scar King versus Kong and Shimu versus Godzilla, but like the whole final battle and the climax was kind of leading up to Shimu's freedom, so they could actually beat the Scar King because they kind of built up that like they can't beat the Scar King as long as he got Shimu under control because she can
Yeah.
literally just freeze everything.
So, from what I understand, yeah, Shimu is pretty much just created for this movie.
Okay,
So,
fair enough. I thought she was
yeah,
a
I
pretty
can't.
cool original character. Even though I know she's just got a female version of Godzilla with ice breath instead of atomic breath, but still.
Yeah. Oh wow. So here's some trivia on Shimu. The cave painting of Shimu seen in Godzilla X Kong, The Hunted, first appeared in Godzilla vs. Kong Call of Duty crossover event.
Call of Duty crossover.
Yeah. Did you ever see that shit?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, no, it was actually pretty cool. In like Warzone, you would basically just be doing a war while Godzilla and Kong were fighting.
Oh, interesting. I did tell you about the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong comics, right? Where like Godzilla like almost kills Superman. Like that's how badass Godzilla is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so this final battle between Scar King, Shimu, Godzilla, and Kong. Obviously, Godzilla and Kong win it, but I think it's pretty cool how it ends. And obviously, okay, so it ends with them all trying to get this weapon from Scar King to destroy it to release Shimu. And the one to destroy it is Mini Kong, Little Bro Kong, who comes in and destroys that shit. Then Scar King grabs him. He's like, "You little," and then Kong just lays that motherfucker out. and Simu's
Oh,
free. Simu freezes
yeah.
him, and Kong smashes this motherfucker into bits. It was so satisfying to see.
I kind of wish the final battle between like those guys lasted a little bit longer, but I totally understand why it didn't because dude only was powerful because he was using another Titan, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, you can say what you want about the initial battle with Kong. Like, he could barely take on Kong by himself. Once you put Godzilla in there, you're done for.
I wish there was a way like so they all go to the overworld. Like they all manage to get sucked up through one of the portal things. But I wish there was a way that they could have been separated where like we would see Scar King just versus straight up Kong or Scar King versus like Godzilla, just kind of have like a one-on-one fight. And then you could have Shimu bail out Scar King, you know, before she's freed.
Mhm.
That would have been kind of cool, but I get it. You know, it's whatever. It didn't at the end of the day, it was still a badass fight. I enjoyed it nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah, everybody goes back to their respective like homes. Shimu and Kong are now buddies, and Mini Kong was riding Shimu, and Kong is like, "Yo, what's up, apes?
yeah, that was pretty
Y'all
cool
are
when
all
they
free."
came back to their section of Hollow Earth, and like the little guy was just riding Shimu, and Kong was just there, and he
He's like
raises up
petting
his
him and
hand.
stuff.
Yeah, raises
Yeah,
up his hand, and it cuts to credits. I'm like, yes, bro, Kong is king indeed.
was there an end credit scene?
There was not.
Okay, I didn't stay. I figured there wasn't.
Is there not going to be another one? There is, right? I'm sure there is. Like, if this one's
I
successful, definitely.
I think they're just playing them by ear now. If they're successful, then they'll make another. But if they're not, then that's it.
Well, that's fair enough. I feel
'Cause-
like that's the way to do it, really, because you never know, especially in today's landscape.
Well, like I'm pretty sure Godzilla versus Kong was supposed to be the end. So
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be the end.
You know what? I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad we got this movie because I thoroughly enjoyed it and I see myself rewatching it sometime. Maybe it's just
Oh yeah,
because I'm a really big Kong guy. I just love apes and anything. I love the Planet of the Apes movies. I love Kong movies. And Kong is definitely the main player in this movie, but a little bit of Godzilla in there doesn't hurt. I enjoy it. I think it's an above average movie, and like especially as just an action movie, you can just go enjoy. You don't have to put a ton of thought into it. It's great. It's a fun movie.
yeah.
It's exactly
I
what it
think
needed to be.
I think that like I don't know. I want them to keep making these. I want them to get around to like maybe just a solo Godzilla movie again. Maybe
I would
because we've
like them
had
to
like
do I would like them to do just instead of including Godzilla and Kong together, I'd like them to do a solo Godzilla and a solo Kong movie again. Because I kind of want to see Kong because we only got Kong Skull Island with him by himself. Like I want to see this version of Kong without Godzilla.
yeah. And I want to see Godzilla without Kong as well. Like you could do a Kong Skull Island, or you can do like another Kong movie and just have it take place in Hollow Earth. You
Easily,
know?
especially with this you get this little little miniature Kong as a sidekick now. You could do like a Batman and Robin type thing with Kong and this little guy.
Yeah, like you could just make up another threat or something like that. Like I don't care what they do; they could just do something. But like
Yeah, I
for
mean, if they
Godzilla,
made Scar King, I think they made a pretty good like threat and villain. Like he didn't have a ton of depth, like I said, but I think he served his purpose and he was interesting enough.
yeah, for like Godzilla or whatever, you could do Space Godzilla. Like you could have Space Godzilla come in, and you could do just a solo Godzilla movie with Space Godzilla, and like you could give Space Godzilla kind of a new look and all that kind of stuff. And there's all kinds of things that they can do. I kind of hope that they do it, and don't let this franchise like die because it's like the best kind of monster. These movies are consistently better than the last or the same as the last, which is great.
We got it, which I still need to see, but we got Godzilla -1 yesterday. Like these characters are both public domain characters. They've been around forever. We could very well get another Kong movie that's outside of this, that's solo, and I'd be fine with that. Like I kind of just want to see a Kong movie on its own at this point because it's
Well,
been
it's
a
hard to do like a King Kong type movie because it's like Skull Island is just like where King Kong lives. So you have to go to Skull Island. So it's going to be like the original King Kong movie or like the Peter Jackson one or something like that. Or no matter what, they're going back to Skull Island, which I don't necessarily enjoy. With
I don't know if
Godzilla,
they have to anymore though, because like I think we've seen enough of that. Like how many times have we seen Skull Island with Kong? It's almost like Batman's parents dying at this point. Like you don't have to show that. You don't. You can just move forward. You can show us after that.
well, like what I'm saying though is like every Godzilla movie they make, Godzilla rises from the bay in like Japan. It's just that's where the character comes from, you know.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, fair enough.
So it's like
a lot of
if
Godzilla like stories just take place in Japan though. Like I'm pretty sure
that
-1 takes place in Japan.
yeah, so does Shin Godzilla. Well, that's because that's where he was created and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
But it's like that's Skull Island is where Kong was made. So it's like, you know, unless you just have like a opening
Plus,
credit that's like
I feel like it's a little different though because Japan is a whole ass country and Skull Island is just like a reserved remote island.
well, you could do something like a group of people captured a giant ape known as known as King Kong, took him to America. He climbed up the Empire State Building, and then he was thought to be dead,
You
and
know
now
what?
he's alive.
These characters are public domain. Why don't we just make a Godzilla movie and why don't we just make a Kong movie? Let's do it. No, we don't have the budget for the CGI. Never mind, never mind.
No, we'll just put on the suits, man. It's all good. You be my enemy for King Kong, and I'll be your enemy for Godzilla, or vice versa. How about that?
I'll just put in a I'll just put on a giant ape suit and you put
Yeah,
on a giant Godzilla lizard suit and we'll shoot a movie.
yeah, we'll
We'll,
fight
we'll,
each other.
all we'll have to invest in is a camera and a green screen and some editing software and we got
Well,
this.
we could get like a wrestling ring and just wrestle, you know, and put the World Heavyweight Championship. We can have a ladder match. Oh my god, put the World Heavyweight
Oh,
Championship, you
the
know, and
rest
just
the WrestleMania -1 main event is Godzilla versus Kong in a TLC match for the World Heavyweight Universal WWE Women's Tag Team World Championship.
yeah. And then like as we're both trying to get up to the top, you know, then out of nowhere, Superman could run down to the ring and cash in Money in the Bank on us. And then climb the ladder. Well, I guess he wouldn't have to climb the ladder. Fly up and take the World Heavyweight Championship. And
Then Lex
then we can
Luthor
have
comes in with
solo
some
movies.
kryptonite.
Yeah, and then just steals it. And then the Undertaker comes in and tombstones Lex Luthor. And then it's like next movie, Kong versus the Undertaker. And then Godzilla versus Lex Luthor.
We have all these fictional characters, and then the Undertaker comes in. But I guess the Undertaker is
He is a
technically a
fictional
fictional
character.
character. Yeah, that's true. Mark Calloway is a real man.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to listen to more of his podcast. I've only like listened to a little bit of it, but I'm like, I love the Undertaker. I love hearing what he has to say. So I should just check out his podcast sometime. It's called 6 Feet Under. If you didn't know, this is a free
Oh,
plug.
really?
Yeah, yeah. Did you know he had a podcast?
No, I didn't actually. Is Michelle on it a lot?
I'm not sure. I need to check more out. I think from what I've seen, it looks like he does it with one of his friends. But
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he probably has Michelle on there every now and then. You would think, anyway.
I like listening to their like back and forth kind of dynamic because it like they talk wrestling and it's very interesting.
Yeah,
Because Michelle
because like
McCool was
Undertaker
was
can offer so much about like the ins and outs of the business because he was there for so long and he was like Vince's main guy. Like he was the guy in the locker room. So, you know, anything he says,
yeah like
I hold as truth.
yeah. And then Michelle can offer like a different perspective of how like it was for like people that weren't exactly, you know, on the Undertaker status, you know? Like she
Yeah.
told that story about how their match was too good, so they had to go redo the entire match
That still
in front of
makes
the exact
no
same
sense to
crowd.
me. That still makes no
Yeah.
sense to me. Like, why would you complain about a match being too good? What? Who cares if it's
Yeah.
women, bro? That's great. That's awesome that it was women.
That's
It's
just
like,
the way it was.
I
mean,
know, man. I'm
that's
glad it's
no
not
other
like
way
that
to put
anymore.
it.
I'm glad it's not like that anymore. Because women steal the show half the time. They get the credit they deserve.
And except for in this movie, women did not steal the show because
That's
was it
true.
Rebecca Hall? Her character was just kind of.
Well,
I mean,
and
she wasn't bad, but I mean, she wasn't like.
I mean, Mothra
I-
though. Mothra, you know, she was the reason Kong didn't die.
Yeah, I guess. But at the end of the day, it was. I'm talking about like if you looked at Mothra, would you be like, "That's a girl"? No, you wouldn't. You'd just be like, "That's a monster." You looked at Kong, would you be like, "That's a girl"? No, that's a monster. Looked at Godzilla. No, that's a monster. You know.
Wow, so
So
monsters don't have genders?
not in my mind, they don't.
They're just
Heard it
monsters.
here
Okay,
first. That's my hot take.
fair
But
enough. Fair enough.
yeah, so that's kind of where I stand there.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't have much else to say about the movie. It was fun. I think all the action was good. You know, it was entertaining. That's what you want out of these movies. Human characters didn't have a ton of depth, but these movies, like I said at the
I
beginning,
highly recommend.
it's not about the human characters.
Yeah, I really highly recommend going and seeing this, just because if they can keep making these movies at this kind of quality, that'd be fucking awesome. That's all I want, are the movies like this.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like, I don't need a story with a ton of depth when it's involving Kong and Godzilla. Like, just show me awesome action with these two, and I'll be good with it.
Yeah,
And like
no joke.
there is some depth in like Kong's story in this movie. Like he's looking for a family. Like he's looking for
Oh yeah.
he's looking for things that all of us look for. So you can kind of you
Oh,
understand
you know
Kong.
what? I take back what I said. So Rebecca Hall's character and the little girl, they have this like
That's
dynamic where
Rebecca
Rebecca,
Hall. I didn't even know that. Oh my god, she looks so
yeah,
different.
yeah, with the
She,
short hair.
yeah, dude.
She's the
When
same
I,
chick from last movie.
oh yeah, yeah, I remember us talking about that last time too. Because I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
she was in the town.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
But
she does. She looks nothing like she did in the town. That's why it throws me off.
so but the little girl says something, and she's like, Rebecca Hall basically tells her, "Look, where you go, I go. You know, where you are, I am. We are each other's home." And then Rebecca Hall's coming to this realization that like this little girl's not gonna want to live with her anymore. She's gonna want to live amongst her people, you know. And at the end of the movie, the little girl's like, "Nah, bro, what are you talking about? Like wherever you go, I go. You're my home." And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of sweet."
Yeah,
You
that was
know,
pretty sweet.
I
I
was
feel
like,
like
"That's cool."
that was Rebecca Hall's character, the doctor's main role throughout the movie, and I got it, but like I kind of wish she had more outside of that,
Yeah,
but still,
she's
like
like the
it was
head
fun.
of the Monarch Kong division or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to dude from last movie. Millie
Uh
Bobby Brown's dad.
oh. Did he not die in the last movie?
No,
No, he didn't. Okay. I don't
no.
know. I don't know what happened to any of those characters.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to
Because
Millie Bobby Brown. The
Rebecca
kid
Hall
from.
Rebecca Hall and her daughter was the only ones that show up. Oh, and the conspiracy theorist guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Trapper
He
wasn't
was
in the last movie, right? I think he said it
no.
at the beginning.
He's new edition.
Yeah,
New
okay.
edition.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
I think he was the best.
I highly, like I said, I highly recommend people do go see this in theaters so it can continue to make its money,
I'd
and
agree.
so they'll
I'd
continue
like to
to.
see another one of these. I'd really like to see another one of these.
Yeah, and like they're not gonna make another one unless this thing doesn't make fucking crazy money. That's why I'm like, yeah, go see the shit in theaters. It's not like one of those movies that it's like, I can just wait till it's on streaming. I mean, you can, but it's like it's a movie that you don't really have to. I took somebody that had never seen any of these movies prior, and she thoroughly enjoyed it. She
I
was like,
will
"Yeah, I
say
had
that
zero idea what was going on, but this movie was awesome." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
this is the first one of the. Well, no, I saw Kong Skull Island in theaters, but this is the first time I ever saw Godzilla on the big screen, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So like what I was back to what I was saying is like, yeah, you don't. This is just a good movie going. Like if you like the movies, but there's not really anything that you want to go see this. You can take people who like aren't even that interested. Everybody's gonna have a good time. You get your popcorn, you sit down. It's just a good movie going experience. It does benefit to go see it on the big screen rather than wait for it to come. You like watch it at home. I to this day regret not going and seeing Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus Kong in theaters because I just watched that shit as soon as it dropped on HBO Max.
Same.
And
I kind of wish I saw it in theaters because, like, although the story is not super deep, the spectacle of it all. Like it would be so
Yeah.
much bigger on a big screen.
Speaking of that, guess what? Guess what I got at the theater?
Oh, what do you get?
I got a poster.
Oh shit! I didn't get a fucking
Yeah.
poster. What the hell, man?
Bringing that shit back,
I haven't gotten
baby.
a single poster here. Like, do AMC theaters just not give posters? Because I have not
I don't
gotten a
know.
single poster.
Cinemark for the win, man. Cinemark for the win.
Okay, so this movie, Godzilla Kong: The New Empire, it had a production budget of $135 million. So I'd presume production plus marketing probably around $200 million budget. It's made
Okay.
$194 million worldwide, so I think it's
Okay.
about to make some money.
All right. Good deal. Good deal.
Bro, it's
I think
already made
it'll
80 million domestic. That's pretty good for an opening weekend.
good. I just want these movies to continue. You know?
Me too, and I'm happy. Considering the opening weekend this one's had, I think it's on track to make more than the original, but we'll see.
Good.
Which makes
Well,
sense because the original came out still like we were on the back end of the pandemic era, but movies were still coming out like we said on streaming the same day. So we didn't even go see these movies in theaters.
no. And like what's crazy is I'm completely fine with them doing this. Like, okay, this movie made its money back. Let's make another now. And then they just keep doing that. I don't
I'm fine too,
necessarily
as long
like
as they're
the
profiting and the movies are. I would say this is quality for like what it is. Like it's a MonsterVerse movie, like the action is quality, and that's what I'm looking for in these movies.
I think the big downfall of like a lot of movies, especially the DC universe, was like they would build so much for the next movie and the movie that you're currently watching. You can just drop small hints here and there.
That was
Like
the
if
problem. Yeah, I agree. No, you should not just make a movie purely to set up the next thing. Like the movie needs to stand on its own.
Yeah. And like if they were to say like one line of dialogue in this movie, it was just like, yeah, that's fucking crazy, man. I saw a meteor fly by the other day. It looked like it had a space Godzilla on it. And then they just moved away from it. That'd be fucking awesome. Okay, they set up for another movie. They mentioned that that's a thing that can happen in this universe, right? So it's there now. So then if they go move into like Space Godzilla, it's already the groundwork's built. That somebody has seen the fucking meteor that had a Space Godzilla on it. Obviously there's smarter ways to do that shit, but
I mean, yeah, the thing about these characters
saying.
though is like you don't need a lot of groundwork. Just lay a little
Nope.
bit and you're there. Like these are established characters just in pop culture. Like everyone knows these characters.
You
So
can do
you are at a
they've
major
done
advantage with that. Which is
you can do
something
Mecha
DC didn't
Kong.
capitalize on. Mecha
Yeah.
Kong? Mecha
Yeah,
Kong.
that's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mecha
mean you
Kong.
did Mecha Godzilla, so you could do Mecha Kong. And I'm glad they
Yeah,
did
you
do it
could
this movie, so like you have a space between Mecha Godzilla and Mecha Kong. So like if the next movie was Mecha Kong, I wouldn't even have a problem with it.
well, you could do something like a company like comes in, let's say let me think of a storyline here for Kong. You think of one while I'm talking. You try to think of something that for Space Godzilla, and we'll see who sounds better. All right.
Bro,
And all
I don't
this
know
is coming
anything
off the
about Godzilla.
I don't know, but you better think of something. All right. So here's the groundwork for how you could do Mecha Kong. All right. So you come in, Hollow Earth, Kong's just ruling around. You got baby Kong. He's kind of grown up a little bit. He's still small, but Kong's trying to teach him the ways of like how to fight, how to like be a good leader and all this other stuff. Because, Kong knows he's not going to be around forever. So, maybe a couple thousand more years, and he'll have baby Kong, growing up. Well, out of nowhere, all of these like Kong keeps finding like members of his like tribe and stuff dead. And he's like, what the fuck's going on? So come to find out there's like another evil terrorist organization thing that thinks that they have stolen all these prototypes and ideas that Monarch created for the power-ups for Kong and made like a Mecha Kong. And what they're doing now is they're trying to control this Mecha Kong so they can kill our Kong and try to make these apes and stuff be like, okay, this is our new leader now. This is our guy. And then they'll use that to try to gain power and kill Godzilla and let's say fucking, I don't know, You don't see Godzilla in this movie at all, but this is the idea. You know, they use this army of apes to kill Godzilla, and let's say they want to harness the radiation from Godzilla's dead body. They think they can do it, and they're going to make their own nukes, and then they're going to like try to rule the entire world. There you go. There's your movie.
So, considering that the movie is in the same universe, right? Is it like everyone versus Kong, or is it everyone versus Kong and Mini Kong? Like, is Mini Kong still there?
Yeah. Mini Kong's still there.
Heck yeah, bro. Yeah, Mini Kong really grew on me, man. I hated him at the start just because he was kind of a dick. I'm like, bro, why are you being this way towards Kong? He's just trying to be cool with you. And then obviously, you know, he saved Kong a couple times. He's like, okay, this Kong guy, he's pretty cool. He fed me. You know, he hasn't been a dick towards me, even though I've been a dick towards him. So, Space Godzilla. I'm saying instead of on Earth, you know, where Space Godzilla like lands and stuff. I don't know anything about the lore of Space Godzilla, but I'm assuming most stuff still takes place on Earth. But he's got
Yeah, he
cosmic
does.
powers
He
and
comes to
stuff.
Earth.
Instead of going to Earth, why does he not just go to another planet and fight aliens and stuff? So it brings.
No, Space Godzilla's the bad guy.
Oh wait, he's a bad guy. So it's
Yeah.
Space Godzilla versus Godzilla.
Yeah. So what it was in the original movies, I'm pretty sure, was like this alien race had like they like took some of Godzilla's DNA and they like created this like it's not like a mecha or anything like that. They used like their own like cloning process kind of, I'm pretty sure, and made a Space Godzilla. I might be wrong. I might be mixing a couple movies together, but I think that's how Space Godzilla was created. And then they were just like, all right, fucking fight Godzilla now. So that was Space Godzilla. He's a bad guy. Big bad guy.
Yeah, okay, so I don't have a pitch for this anymore because I was thinking he was a good guy. Because he's Godzilla! But he's an evil version of Godzilla.
He's an evil. Yes.
So is he like a mirror copy of Godzilla, or
did I not send you a picture of Space Godzilla here a while back?
I mean, a picture is not going to tell me anything about like what he can do. Like, does he still have the atomic breath like Godzilla? Does he still basically do everything Godzilla does? He's just a space version of Godzilla.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. That's it. That's like it. Pretty much. You know, he just looks different.
So he has the power set of Godzilla. Oh my God.
Pretty much. It's basically the exact same.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. I guess Scar King was almost that in reference to Kong. He was like
He's just an orangutan.
Yeah, he wasn't a mirror version Kong. He was a different kind of ape, but he was still a giant ape with a signature weapon. He had the little chain with the thing that was controlling Shimu, and Godzilla or Kong had the little axe that he found at the end of the last movie.
Yeah, I sent a picture of Space Godzilla so you could see it now. That's like him.
Oh yes, I think you have showed me that before.
He looks fucking cool, don't he?
Yeah, he does look cool. I like the little thing on his head, like the horn protruding.
It's like a crown almost, kind of.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I like
that. But
I mean, I wouldn't mind like Space Godzilla being the villain of the next Godzilla Kong if they make another one. But like you said earlier, I kind of like another solo Godzilla movie with this version of Godzilla and another solo Kong movie with this version of Kong before we get to the next thing where they're past intersecting.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't care. You can tell a Kong story. Oh my God. There you go. You can tell a Kong story, years in the future, years in the past. You know, you can do a lot with Kong. You could put Kong back on Skull Island, in a past story. You can, I don't know, you can tell a future story with Godzilla. There's a lot you can do, and I don't understand. They don't have to keep teaming them up, which I'm not against them teaming them up. It's just you don't get to see a lot of Godzilla, or you don't get to see a lot of Kong, which sucks.
Something I did love about Kong, like visually in this movie, I'm not sure if it was as noticeable in Godzilla versus Kong. I'd have to rewatch it, or even Kong Skull Island. But all the scars you saw on Kong's body.
Oh yeah, no, he gets most of those from Godzilla from the last movie.
Yeah, no, I thought that was awesome because I thought it was like they did not have to do that. That's a subtle thing that they added. And like obviously you see Kong plenty throughout the movie, so if you're actually watching, you'll notice. Mm-hmm. But I really enjoyed that. I'm like, okay, so like there are repercussions from previous movies. Like this dude has gone through some shit. He's been in some battle.
Yeah, I enjoy that myself. I think that's a good attention to detail right there. Like it wouldn't bother me if it wasn't there, but the fact that they like went ahead and put it in makes me like, okay, I like this.
Yeah, I really liked it. So he didn't have those before, or as many of
Yeah,
them at least.
yeah, not as many, I don't think, but I think he did have them. But
I mean, that
I
makes sense
guess,
because Kong is like ages old.
yeah, I guess we can rate this now.
Yeah. What's your grade and scale for this movie?
Uh, how many apes do you think you could take down?
Oh man, how many apes do I think I can take down? So apes that are not Kong, correct?
Yeah, no, Scar King's
So
lackeys.
Scar King's lackeys, not Scar King, not Kong. I'm gonna say I could
Yeah,
probably take like 3 of them before they got to me.
3 of them. Oh, keep in mind you're the same size as Godzilla and Kong and stuff.
Oh, if I'm the
You're not
same,
just a regular
oh,
human.
okay, I'm the same size as
Yeah,
Kong. I could probably take like, I don't know, maybe. See, I don't know. They were attacking Kong all at once. They kind of got to him, but I feel like I could take at least like 15 of them before they overwhelmed me.
15. I'd say about 12 probably. You know,
Yeah, that's fair. That's
because I
fair.
mean, think about it. If you're a giant person, you may have a gun. Who knows? You know, we're not making the rules up here.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
you
If you
know,
are a person, you probably would have a gun. You might have a giant gun.
yeah, yeah, a giant gun. It could be a giant rail gun. And you just blast holes through them before it finally needs a cooldown, and you're just like, well, shit, kind of screwed now.
Yeah, so however many bullets are in the chamber if you got a giant gun, that's probably how many apes you'll be able to take.
Yeah, so I'm saying about 12. You know, about
You know,
12. You're
oh,
saying
12.
about 15. So
You're saying about 12 rounds, huh?
yeah, yeah, 12 rounds featuring Randy Orton.
Or John Cena.
Yeah, or John Cena. That's who they need to
Uh,
put in the next one, John Cena.
well,
Just put a giant John Cena in there next to Kong and Godzilla.
we'll definitely be talking about Randy Orton our next episode though, because we'll be predicting
Ooh.
the WrestleMania 40 card.
A WrestleMania 40 card.
Hey, I'm pretty hyped for WrestleMania 40, all things considered. Like they've been doing a pretty good build to it.
I agree. Very much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
In the
that was Kong versus Godzilla, or Kong X Godzilla, the New Empire.
yes, it was. And if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend it personally. For what it was, I think it's what it needed to be. I think it was a perfectly enjoyable Kong Godzilla movie with entertaining action, and that's what I was looking for.
Braden, where can people listen to this?
Well, if you're not listening already, you can listen to it at the Red Arrow on YouTube, the Red Arrow _ DC if you're looking for the actual tag. Or you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. That's so random. And yeah, you can find a
What
bunch of
else?
other
What
stuff
do you got? What do you got coming up on the YouTube? You say?
on the YouTube. Well, I will definitely be discussing. So, Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2 is coming out next month. I'll definitely be discussing that once it comes out. So, for anyone that's a DC animation fan, you should go subscribe. Other than that, I'll for sure, be here with this show. That's so random. We'll be discussing WrestleMania 40 soon, and we'll be discussing the X-Men franchise further as we lead into Deadpool 3. And got some stuff over at Giggly Gorilla Studios, my other podcast with my other co-host. We'll be talking about Jordan Peele soon. We'll probably be discussing Monkey Man once it releases next week. So that's what you can expect on the Red Arrow channel on YouTube.
Wow, sounds like you got quite a bit of stuff planned out here.
A little bit. We got WrestleMania 40 coming up. We got some decent movies coming up. So it's a pretty good time to be a wrestling and a movie fan.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it then.
That is it for Godzilla Kong, the New Empire.
All I have to say is when you look among the stars, know there are cybernetic organisms everywhere.